but it was equal for everybody, right? I mean, they weren't visiting any campuses.
How about that grab? And Stewart going up and climbing the ladder and catching that one. He actually has 0 catches in his career. I know he would wish that one would count. Our Big Ten standout, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. They call him a big player. He moved over to tight end last year, then moved back to wide receiver. And the big kid, as they call him, was big on this play.
That is well done, well done, and well timed. He has vision on the ball and just jumps perfectly. This is what a lot of people call 50-50 ball, although this is not exactly a 50-50 ball. Most of his issues at Temple was when he was throwing the ball and where he was throwing it. And those are things that he has to work on. Ball placement, that ball could have been a little bit lower. And, he's got to learn the offense. He's a quick learner. He's learned a bunch of different offenses. But they're just going through some team drills now. Again, everyone's staying up. Everyone's going full speed.
8 to 10 times each, and so I go into practice the next day, and I know what to expect. Noah Kim now is the quarterback here for Michigan State. We've talked about Payton Thorne, we've talked about Anthony Russo, and we were told that Noah Kim would actually be the 3rd quarterback out of the gates here today.
Our first look at it, but he certainly looks the part, but he must be doing some things well because there's 5 scholarship quarterbacks, and if he's the 3rd quarterback, and Russo's in his last year of eligibility, he's not far from playing. There was so much more pressure on him. And so once the fall comes, the 3rd and 4th quarterbacks aren't going to really get any reps. You're lucky to get 2 quarterbacks ready for a game. Again, to me, what was most impressive in the Penn State game was his growth within the game. I mean, you could actually watch him run the same play life here. I'm going to show you a tape here. I'm going to show you 3 plays, Lisa, that I'm going to try to explain what I'm saying. So I cut up 3 plays we're going to get to see here in a minute. I'll show you what I mean about how Payton's pocket presence looks so much better as the game went on. Here it is here. So here's the first one. That's not.
That's a connection we just saw here between Thorne and actually his high school buddy. If anyone's going to appreciate a practice, it's going to be Tom Izzo. So the marathon scoring drive is the setup here with Hayward taking the pass there, and then the completion. They kind of worked their way slowly down the field, which was the purpose of this 7-on-7 drill, and then finally the connection to McDonald, and you could hear some of the crowd kind of roaring with that as well. And again, we're getting closer to some of the team versus team aspects here for Mel Tucker. And there's another score that time by Jayden Reed, again wearing the number one here this year. You got that number memorized now, don't you?
No doubt.
Take a look at that as well here. And again, Big Ten officials are roaming the field here to try to keep everything in check for these guys. That was a nice connection. What'd you think of that? Yeah, no Luke Campbell. You won't see Blake Buter. And we were told that A.J. Arcuri won't be on the field here today. Jerry DiNardo, Lisa Byington, Darian Harris on the field for us as well. This is not your traditional kind of spring game that we're used to seeing.
What bothered me more was the ball placement more than the interception. And that was perfect ball placement right there. So the interceptions, I could see how a quarterback would be in that position. Both the big tight ends on the line of scrimmage that block, a lot of them can play in the slot. So they're more receivers now than they were a generation ago when people were in the I formation.
That we've seen one each from Payton Thorne and Anthony Russo. This one from Thorne.
Play action pass, perfectly placed. Receiver never broke stride, and this is the one we talked about already. Anthony Russo, perfect pass. So those are 2 deep balls off of play action. You've got to be able to throw those passes. Offensively, it's maybe 35% you're going to be successful. So as we watch this, most of these are going to be incompletions, or they'll be complete but not for long enough yardage. So, when you're putting together a game plan, there's a quality control. For instance, 1st and 10 happens 24 times a game. If you can
look at that hit.
Well, after this play, we can talk a little bit about their recruiting setup, Lisa.
Play action that time, and dropping it into the breadbasket to Stewart once again. It's Kim and Stewart. They like that connection together.
Yeah, and that obviously is one of the things that the offensive coaches want to do is throw the ball deep. Again, this is play action. Sometimes you throw play action, even if it's third and long. People say, why would you play action? They know it's not going to be a run, but the protection's better. That's why you do it. So you just go through the perfunctory. The best will survive the best.
Hampton is your new quarterback. It's our first time looking at number 5. They're at the QB spot. 6'5", 215. He's a freshman out of Texas. He was an early enrollee in January. These fans are just happy to be inside to watch football again.
Yeah, and it's good for the players. Onishuk at the other end. I mean, they're veteran guys, and they will be an important part of their season. Defensive linemen, they have a little bigger repertoire of pass rushes.
Okay, so now it's Anthony Russo's turn.
Well
that
done.
Pass connect.
Little low, right? Little low, but he got it out of his hands quicker than he does at times.
That's Sebastian Brown, a freshman receiver out of Detroit Cass Tech, by the way. So moving down the field here awfully quickly.
A lot of great plays coming out of Cass Tech.
That's Parks Gissinger, and this is a 2-minute situation where they're trying to move it down the field to try to get in field goal position. That's the purpose of this period.
Today, Lisa, didn't see much difference in quarterbacks. I don't know that it was a day that we could because of the weather, but I could see how this is going to be a really tough decision.